comes over and he does an overall of your house, he'll know what to look for, just like a home inspector. And then any items that come up from the home inspection for your buyer is now just new information to you for you to address, because it may be some things that you don't want to address. But if a licensed home inspector brings it to your attention and you don't disclose it, you can find yourself in liability. So a recap: preparing your home for sale. Have a buyer's eye. Take your emotion out of it. Put the buyer in mind. So we're going to get your home appraised. You're going to do a home inspection. Appeal to the first-time buyer. You're going to turn your home into a product by decluttering. Rent a storage unit. Put all your access furniture in there. If you have a 3-piece or a 2-piece, maybe put your biggest sofa piece in that storage unit, just so you can small down the room or simplify your property. Okay? Fresh paint, plugins, curb appeal, and showing your property. Really important. Super, super important. No 24-hour notices. Make your home available in an hour or less. 30 minutes is better, but we do understand sometimes you have family and you're working from home, especially with COVID going on. So you want to make sure that you make your house at least an hour or less. 30 minutes is better, because what's going to happen is your agent, an agent is out showing property. He may have 3 to 5 houses he's showing. Your house just popped on the market. They want to put it in their rotation. Your home is not available for an hour. They're just going to move on to the next property. All right? But if you actually make sure your home is available, then what we can do at that point is make sure that your home gets available for them to see. All right? So just make sure that you do that. All right? So that's preparing your home for a sale in a nutshell. Okay? Hire KJ Johnson team. We can come in and give you some consultation, and then we can help you to get your home prepared for sale and find you a bona fide buyer. All right? All right. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is credit repair. If you don't have a home to sell, there's no sale. And if you don't have credit, then you can't buy a house. So we're going to talk about some items or some things that you can do to help fix your credit, okay, in a fraction of the time that you normally would take. Now, this is tax season coming up. Now, here's the number one thing everybody do during tax season. As soon as they get their taxes, they go off and start paying everything off in a credit report, and they think that paying everything off is going to bring your score up, and that's not the case. Sometimes if you pay some items on your credit report, I'm talking about collections in general, okay, your score can go down. And there's multiple reasons why. I can do a whole webinar on credit repair, but we don't have that type of time today. So what I'll say is, if you're wanting to get your credit score up, the first thing you need to do is reestablish new credit. Okay? Reestablish new credit. Get yourself 3 to 5 secured credit cards. Okay, you can try your credit union. You can try Bank of America. You can try PNC. You can try Capital One. But 3 to 5 credit cards. OpenSkyCC.com. 3 to 5 credit cards. All right, that's going to help start the process of building your credit, because now you have new credit. Keep your balances low. That's your utilization rate. So if you already have credit and you haven't paid anything late and your score's not high, your utilization rate may be high. If you're using more than 30% of your credit, then that can compromise your score temporarily. So paying those credit cards down to $5 or $10, I mean, I've seen people go from a 566 credit score to close to 700 simply by paying their credit cards down. I mean, this young lady, she had like 15 credit cards. Help me, Jesus. Now, listen, I'm not giving her a hard way to go. If you want and have aspirations to get an 850 credit score, then you're going to need 16 to 22 lines of credit. So some people just want to hit that number for the sake of them wanting to hit it. To qualify for a mortgage, you only need a 640 credit score. All right? Now, with things going on in our society, yes, you want to have a 700 credit score or better. They just treat you differently. Let me just tell you this. When I try to get a house for the first time. I mean, my credit was so bad. I think Homeland Security was created because I applied for a mortgage.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute.
You know, I had things on my credit. It wasn't a good scenario, and you know, people treat you differently when your credit is compromised. I mean, every time I got denied for a loan, they was like, KJ, we can't help you. But when I got approved, I became Mr. Johnson. So they treat you differently. So having that 700 plus credit score, you know, they're going to call you by your last name. No matter how much you say, hey, look, just call me KJ. They're going to keep calling you Mr. Johnson because they want your business, and they're going to want you to refer people because they're going to think that, hey, listen, you have a 700 credit score, you run in a circle of like-minded people, and you're going to refer that same caliber of client. So there's a whole mindset behind good credit versus bad credit and things of that nature. But I will say that credit is somewhat subjective because you have to know where to shop your credit to. Like, you might not never get a 700 credit score, but you can still get a car with a low interest rate, credit cards with low interest rates, if you know where to shop your credit at. You know, if you have a 640 to 670, that's actually not a bad credit score. To be honest, if you know where to shop your credit, you can get everything that a person with a 700 credit score get if you know where to shop it. But your goal and your aspiration should be to get that, not just to buy a house. Once you get a 640 credit score, listen, you don't need a 700 credit score to buy a house. You need a 640. Getting a 700 is not going to change it much. Your interest rate is not going to have a dramatic change to it because you have a 700. I had one guy say, don't wait till I get an 800 to buy a house. I was just like, okay, you know, what do you say in a situation like that? Like, that's beyond overkill. You only need a 640, so you don't really need to go that high unless if that's your personal goal, that's fine. So just to recap, it's 5 to 6 lines of credit, okay? New credit, keep the balances low. If you have current credit, pay those cards down or ask for a credit line increase. Sometimes if you call and be like, listen, I'm ready to buy a house, I really don't have it in my finances to pay off my credit cards, call your credit card companies up and see if you qualify for a credit line increase. Or in some cases, add new balances of credit. I mean, some people say, well, I was told that you're not supposed to apply for credit when you're getting ready to buy a house. Well, you have to have a plan and a strategy. If you're trying to get your score up, you have your money set aside for certain things. Getting a $5,000 line of credit and add it into the mix of your utilization rate may just boost your score up. You know, if you have a credit card and they've been offering you credit cards and you just been not taking it, take them, but just don't use them, because what'll happen is if you have $10,000 worth of revolving credit and you owe $8,000, your utilization rate is high. But if you get $8,000 more in credit, well, then your utilization is going to go down and your score is going to go up automatically by default without you paying anything off. Okay? Now, sometimes you may have things on your credit and you need to get off. We have a credit repair service that we can offer you, but that's going to be the basis to get you on that path to the 700 credit score. Not writing letters and disputing everything, because if you dispute the wrong thing, your score can go down. All right? Now, I think coming up soon, I'm going to just do a whole 1-hour webinar on credit and how to really get those scores where you need to be. It's just that we don't have the time today, unfortunately. But trust me, I've been in the business for 17 years. I've seen a lot. I went through a lot personally. And if you just do those things, you'll see your score change. Okay? All right. Getting added on someone's credit as an authorized user. They call that piggybacking. That is still a good thing to do. Now, the only downside to that is if you get added on a credit card as an authorized user and you don't have any of your own credit, I call it your own standalone credit, a mortgage company will look at that and know what you're doing. But if you have 2 or 3 secured credit cards and you're on someone's account as an authorized user, but then that they can't really say that this person is just piggybacking, okay? Because once they take you off of that credit card, as an authorized user, you now have your own standalone credit, which will help. Now, listen, if someone is gracious enough to add you on a credit card as an authorized user, it only has to be for 3 months, and then it can take you off. None of your history will show up on their credit, but all of their history from that particular card and that card only will then show up on your credit. All right? So that's going to be credit repair in a nutshell. Stop striving for a 700 credit score to buy a house. You only need a 640. Once you get that, yes, line yourself up so that your score will go up, but don't beat yourself down. Don't destroy yourself thinking that you have to get this 700 credit score, because the interest rate that you're going to get at 700 and the person at 640 is, I mean, they may get at a 640, say for instance, you may get a 3.1 or 3.2. With a 700, you may qualify for a 2.8. That's not a drastic difference. It's not a dramatic difference, because FHA is set up for you to win. So they don't really have it. Well, here's a bombshell to you. I need a drum roll or something. You're gonna be shocked when I tell you this. FHA do not have credit score requirements.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute. I am delivered.
Do you want me to hit? Do you want me to say that again? FHA do not have credit score.
I am delivered.
Banks do. Now, they do have guidelines on credit criteria from 500 to 550 and 550 to 560 and 560 and so on and so forth. They have credit criteria, but if you have an experienced loan officer that knows the guidelines, you can get an FHA loan. Now, you may not qualify for the grants and the programs, because you're going to need a 640 for that. But if you have an experienced loan officer and they know what they're doing, you can get a FHA loan with under a 640 credit score. You have to put your own money down, but and you have to look at all the other compensating factors that go along with that. Like, you can't have recent lates over the past 12 months. You can't have a bankruptcy that's more than 3 years old or 2 years old. It's a lot of compensating factors that an experienced loan officer can walk you through. So if you have your own down payment, if you can borrow money from a thrift savings or TSP or your retirement, then you can ultimately still buy a house. Now, I still would suggest, regardless, you get those secured cards, because that's going to help you long term. You should strive to get to that 700 credit score mark, and then when you get to that mark, strive for the 750. Anything over 700, really, you don't need it. Honestly, you're going to get you can get anything with a 700 credit score that someone with an 850 can get. Now, sometimes when there's exceptions to the rule, like if you have if you make $100,000, sometimes they may allow you to only use 43% of your income, but the higher credit score, they may let you use 50 to 55% of your income. Why? Because you have a good credit score, and and you've shown a track record of you managing your bills. Okay, so it will factor into that, but that's rare. Like, who wants to use 55% of their income on a house? That's not even smart, unless you're married or you have another person that's with you, and you are the credit-worthy person at this particular juncture, and you know that there's another income in that scenario. Or if you don't have a car payment and you don't have student loans, then that's fine. But if you have car payments, student loans, you don't want to enter into those. You don't want to be house poor. You don't want your mortgage payment to show up and be like an unwanted house guest. Okay? All right, so that's going to do it on credit repair. We're moving right along. KJ Johnson, your trusted real estate professional. Let's move right along. All right. First time home buyer guide. We get through this seminar pretty quick today. After this, we're going into grants and programs and how to successfully buy foreclosure. And then I may be dismissing you guys early today. All right? First time home buyer guideline. Now, On this chart, I've been in the business for some time. So on this chart, the highest number I have for rent is 1,500. But if you live in Laurel or Owens Mills or Upper Marlboro or Towson, and you're renting a townhome, I know you're paying more than 1,900 at least, and 17 to 1,900 in some instances, 2,000, 25, 2,600. It's nothing to be in PG County, Anne Arundel County, and pay $2,400 in rent. So in this scenario, it's just $1,500. But if you pay $1,500 a month for 15 years, that's $270,000. That's $270,000. Yes, that's almost a home place. Exactly. So if you're on the fence about purchasing, that should push you right off the fence. All right. Now, why do you want to purchase a home? Investment. It gives you a sense of control and fixed costs. When you get that notice that your rent is going up, sometimes it's annoying. Okay, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and tax benefits. Give you a sense of stability. The tax benefit is if your mortgage is $1,900, of that $1,900, I'm just throwing a number out there. Let's just say $680 of that is tax deductible every month. That's the interest portion that you can write off. So, investment, control, fixed cost, sense of accomplishment, tax benefits, and stability. That's why you want to become a homeowner. Okay. Buying a home can be stressful, so you want to research grants and programs in your area. All right. If now nobody on this webinar, but the people who I've called, when I call them and I say, well, how much are you paying in rent? And they say $2,100, and I ask them how much you want your mortgage payment to be, and they say $1,200. Now nobody on this webinar did it, but everybody. But I'm talking about the other ones. That's just not going to happen. So if you're paying $2,000 in rent for comparable living quarters in your area, it's going to be up or down by 10 or 15%. Now, interest rates are at a 80-year low, and that may be an exception to the rule. Okay, because I've seen 2.1% interest rates. I've seen 1.8% interest rates on VA loans. That's unheard of in forever. Okay, so that may be the exception. Okay. Don't rely on someone else's experience. When you start this process, two people are going to come out of the woodwork. The first one is the HGTV expert. Okay, they watch all the episodes and they try to apply what they see on TV to your real life situation. I mean, you go to see a house and they say, "Girl, you shouldn't buy this house. It's a townhouse. You should get a single family home, or vice versa. You should get what you want to buy." That's what you should do, and not rely on the expert, because sometimes they're giving you secondhand information that they're seeing on TV. They probably have real estate or investment aspirations in real estate, and they do that. I did it before I became a real estate agent. My real estate agent, he gave me all the keys to the HUD foreclosures. Back in the day, they would give you would have keys. They called them the foreclosure or the REO key. So if you went to a house and there was a foreclosure, one of these keys was opening the door. And I had the keys to the house. So I thought I was the REO agent. So if I knew someone that was trying to buy a foreclosure, I would just open up the keys. Why? Because I had copies. And I was the REO expert. But I had a limited knowledge of the business. And a lot of people have a limited knowledge of what's going on. And if you listen to them and you don't know, you don't do your own due diligence, you don't do your own research, it could be a hindrance for you. All right? Make your own decisions. Attend home buyer workshops. That's going to help you, and research home prices in your area so you're familiar with what the market is or the market rate in your area is. Now, what are some of the documentation that you're going to need? You're going to need your last 3 years tax returns. You're going to need your last 3 months bank statements, 2 years W-2s, 30 days pay stubs, verification of court child support, documentation of if you're going through a divorce or you're separated. They may need a notarized letter if that divorce has not consummated, and a profit and loss statement for self-employed buyers if you're self-employed. All right. Who are some of the players involved in your transaction? If you're an agent that's selling your house, that's a listing agent. And if you're a buyer trying to buy a house, there's a buyer agent. An agent is pretty much your broker. Your real estate salesperson works for the broker. When they offer you their services, that creates an agency relationship. When you call a person in reference to real estate and you ask them questions, that creates an agency relationship. That's a presumed agency relationship. They don't have anything in writing, but they're utilizing their knowledge to assist you in answering your questions. So if you call this agent from this, Redfin or Zillow, and you're not contractually signed with them, but you are contractually signed with another agent, then you are creating an agency relationship with a person that's not your realtor. How can that be detrimental to you? Number one, if it's a listing and you're calling on this, that person works for the seller. You need someone that's going to work for you, that's going to negotiate for you, that's going to call that realtor, find out everything he can about the house, but construct your offer in a way that benefits you. Because sometimes you want a house so bad, like I have this home right now in Landover, and I'm telling you, I'm getting hit after hit after hit off of this house. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. And sometimes you get buyers that call in and they'll just start talking. Hey, listen, I love this house. It's in my school district. My child is in the ninth grade going to high school. I work for the D.C. government for 14 years. I have savings. I have 401k. I have $175,000 in my 401k. I have $250,000. And they'll just start talking. And all that information, I stop them. Some agents won't. I say, listen. Okay, let me set up an appointment to sit down and speak with you. Because as they telling me that information, then you know how to construct that offer where it's beneficial for the seller and not for them. So what I ask to my buyers is, wait a minute, what is it that you need and that you're looking for? And let me help you with that. And if this property fits that, then so be it. But if for some reason you can have what they call a dual agency, where one brokerage will represent the same property in the transaction, the buyer and the seller. That's dual agency. Okay. In some instances, they have to assign a different salesperson so that the interest is protected. But sometimes one realtor do it. And if you don't have an agent that's going to sit down and look at your offer, the seller's needs, and still give you good information, then you're going to need someone that's going to represent you and your interests. Okay? Really important. When you go to a builder and they offering you cookies and trips and soda and flat screen TVs, they work for the seller. They don't work for you. And they'll tell you, well, we can cut a better deal with you. Don't use your realtor. No one is going to protect your best interest like your real estate agent. No one is going to protect your best interest like KJ Johnson. I am your trusted real estate professional. I am your realtor right now. I'm going to claim that. No one's going to, listen, let me tell you a scenario. So a few years back, a client of mine, Miss Lynette, love her. She's just a lovely person, a good-spirited person. Love good-spirited people. All right? She called me up and she said, KJ, I went to your seminar and I want you to help me buy my house. It's a new construction community and I want you to come and I want you to represent me because they told me that I need $21,000. So I said, sure, no problem. So she gave me the information. I met with her at the builder and they wasn't offering her anything, but just I think they were offering her about maybe $6,000 in closing cost help or $8,000, if that much. New construction house, right? So I did a little research. I was able to find her a program. She didn't need $21,000. She only needed $6,600. We rolled the closing cost she needed into the price of that house and had the builder throw in a little bit. We got her $22,000 in closing cost help from the builder. Sitting down, looking at the numbers, looking for the no's to know what they'll say yes to. It takes an experienced agent to be able to do that. And she had the $21,000, no problem. She said, I'm going to go get a loan. I know I need a ratified contract. And when I get a ratified contract, I'll turn it in and then I can get the money. I said, the devil is a lie. I said, hold on. we're going to make this work in your benefit. So after we renegotiated the deal and then signed the contract, she needed $6,600 and she got $22,000 from the builder. Be careful going to the builder thinking that you're going to get some super deal, not having a realtor. You can absolutely get the short end of the stick. All right? So you're going to have a mortgage professional that's going to be involved, a builder, an appraiser, a home inspector. Everybody where you are, raise your hand right now. I can see you. Raise your hand. I want you to say, I promise to get a home inspection, or I owe KJ Outback. You need to get a home inspection. Do not put yourself in a position where you're buying a house and then you're assuming someone else's problems. All right? For years ago, I sold a home in Akiki, Maryland. I'm all over the guys. I do all Charles County to Harford County. I'm in Akiki, Maryland with this builder. Can't say their name. Single-family home, $550,000 house. Beautiful, big house. We do the home inspection. The support beam in the middle of the house is leaning like this on this brand new house. Now, I didn't notice it.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute.
We walked past this beam a million times. But when the home inspector came and pointed it out, we was like, wow. There were joists that they used that had termite damage on it. The home is, 4 corners in the basement. And 2 of the corners was water coming in the house. Now, this is a brand new house. You're going to have home inspection issues. You address them and you move on. Those issues aren't deal killers, but you need to know that they exist. And in this market, people are getting desperate because inventory is low and sales is up. Real estate is up 42% and inventory is down 35%. Inventory is down 35%, but sales are up 42%. Sellers are like, look, you're not coming in my house bidding me. They scared they're going to get bidded. So they like, look, COVID ain't coming up in here. And if they selling their house, then they're going to a hotel or they're moving out, buying their house, and then you can come in and out as you please. But it really has sellers nervous. And we do take precautions, the necessary precautions when we list your property to make sure that they're, to stop the spread of it. However, this is a devil that's out here that you just can't see. So, with that being said, the home inspection is important. Make sure you get a home inspection. All right. Other players in the transaction: the surveyor, an insurance agent, a title company, and then a title attorney. All right. Now we're going to go over negotiating in today's market. Now, I do have a negotiation strategy here, but this is not for today's market. In today's market, we have to call what they call an audible. You know how when they're lined up to run a play, they have to call an audible if they realize that their play has been noticed, or so we have to call an audible. Here's an audible. Whatever the list price is, you need to be going over list price. Okay, if you need closing cost help, you need to be factoring that into list price. Okay, you have to do it because it's so competitive out here. I mean, people are getting 6 to 17 contracts on a house. I wrote a contract on a home in Halthorpe, Maryland, and the agent said, I'm so tired. I have 17 contracts and 5 more that came in after I presented to the seller. That's a lot of contracts. And that house was gorgeous. And she should have accepted my contract. I don't know why she didn't. I'm going to give her a call and have some heated fellowship with her about that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, with that many contracts, I mean, people going over asking price. Earnest money deposit. People normally say, well, $1,000. Well, not in today's market. If the home is $300,000, you want to do 1% of that or more. Why? To appeal to the seller, have more skin in the game. So if you have thrift savings or 401k, you may want to consider borrowing from that, because these programs, they'll help you with your down payment. You know, your 100% financing covers your down payment. We're going to go over what the down payment requirement is when we get to that section. But down payment and closing costs are two different costs. Your down payment is 3.5%. Your closing cost is 4.75% of the sales price of the house. So these programs are going to help you with one or the other, but not both. And if you're looking to buy a home, sometimes we'll roll the sales price. We'll increase the sales price and ask for closing cost help. But in today's market, if you ask for closing cost help, your contract is not getting accepted unless there are other compensating factors. So like never before, you may need a little bit more money out of pocket in today's time, in today's market, only because of the increase in sales, the decrease in interest, and the decrease in volume. And this is a really weird market. I can't really say it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, because both of them are high. I think in investment, they talk about a bullish market for investing. This is like a bullish market. I mean, everything is hot. The buyer side and the seller side. The real estate market is just on fire on both spectrums. You know, so that's how I'm going to suggest that you negotiate. Now, selecting your home of choice. All right. If you want a 4-bedroom, 2-car garage home in Laurel, and the sales price is $400,000 or $445 in Laurel, that's really going to run you around that price. And when they go on the market, you have to be aggressive. If it's only 1 or 2 houses. Now, if you see a home and it's 6 or 7, then you can be what they call very passive about your offer. But if this home is everything that you want, then you want to be aggressive with it, meaning going over asking price. Instead of 1% of the earnest money deposit, going over that. Petitioning your mortgage professional to do a 30-day closing or less. Doing a home inspection in a quick time frame. Not doing a home inspection at all, but tell them we'll do a home inspection in 5 days. Now, tell me, here's why that's beneficial. Within 3 to 5 days, they're going to know whether you in this deal or not, opposed to 10 days. So do your home inspection in 5 days. Sometimes lining that up is an issue, and you may have to get an extension on it. But they say we'll do a home inspection in 3 days. We'll do mortgage application. On your contract of sale, you have a certain amount of days to do application and then to get loan commitment. Tell them you're going to sign this loan application in 3 to 5 days. That means that you're going to work diligently from the onset of the ratification of that contract to get them to the settlement table, which is all positive compensating factors which will help you to win over a deal, to win over a contract. You have to appeal to the listing agent. Guys, you know, you call and you talk, you go by and you talk to the seller, that's fine. But the listing agent controls the deal. If they tell the seller, I don't really think that that's the best offer, and they use their knowledge as to why the seller's not accepting their contract as bad as they may want to, okay? Appeal to the listing agent. Here's how. Write a letter. And your letter should sound something like this. Dear seller, I would first like to commend your real estate agent on the remarkable job they did in getting your home prepared for sale. That real estate agent probably been beat up by this seller. Hopefully not, but sometimes they beat up on you a little bit, and you have to really just use your knowledge to get the home sold. And sometimes they're not coachable. Sometimes they're very coachable. I thank God that I've been able to work with some very coachable people this year on the listing side. But sometimes that's not the case. So and you have to get this home prepared for sale is not an easy task. They don't want to do all of the things that I suggest in getting your home prepared for sale. And we know strategically that those things will happen. So when they get 7 and 8 and 10 contracts on it, they realize that, wow, they have value in that realtor now. They're like, wow, you really knew what you were talking about. Because I have all these contracts on my house. And the last realtor, I couldn't get any contracts on my house. You know, that's the difference between good and great. That's the difference between KJ Johnson and other realtors. Okay? So with that being said, when you're writing your letter, appeal to the listing agent first and then talk about key factors in the house that you like. Identify something. Take notes when you're looking at properties. If it's a particular crown molding or wallpaper or appliances, the name brand of an appliance, or how they decorated something, you know, try to connect with them in an intimate way that I see the pictures in the home, and I see that this home has a lot of love in it, and I would like to partake of that love and trade places, your family for my family, in the same home, so that we can continue on with the ritual that you've birthed in your property, which is family value. Please accept my offer. We're willing to give you a rent back. We're willing to go over asking price as reflected in my offer, and we would really love to partner with you in helping you selling your home, and we'll continue to give it the same love that you've given it so far. Somewhere along those lines. That's how you're going to get in the door. And then all the other things we talked about is just going to be the mechanics behind your offer. Okay? All right. So, in a nutshell, step number 1, partner with a loan officer. I say, show me the money. Anyone who partners with me, I don't take you out and show you houses right away. I try to find what money I can get you right away. That's what's important. Not showing you a house, but letting you know what grants and programs and interest rate I can get you with my real estate, my mortgage professionals. And hey, listen, big shout out to Meridian Bank, Brian Jones and Kelly Williamson over at Meridian Bank for sponsoring us today. Big shout out to Allstate in Randallstown, Paris Taylor. He's an awesome guy for sponsoring us today. We really appreciate you. So, one more big shout out to Classic Inspections. You want to get a home inspection? Classic Inspections. They are builders, and they do a fantastic job. All right, so partner with a loan officer. Find your grants and programs, your interest rate. That should be where you start at. Then you can go out with myself or one of my other realtors, okay? And then then it's time to go home shopping. And when you find a home, you're going to go under contract. And once your home goes under contract, you do an inspection. And once you do the home inspection, we're going to identify items on the home inspection. All right? And then once we identify items on the home inspection, I call it surviving the home inspection. We petition the seller to fix it. All right? Now, just because you do a home inspection and there's a leak, and there, if there's a leak, you get a waterproof certification or a plumbing certification. If there's issues with the roof, you get a roof certification. If there's issues with the electrical, you get an electrical certification. If there's issues with water getting into the house, you get a waterproof certification. So every issue can be corrected by certifications. So don't let these items that come up dissuade you or keep you from moving forward, because in most cases, they can be and will be corrected. Okay? And then you do an appraisal. The appraiser is going to assess the value of the house to make sure the value comes in. Your loan officer is going to ask you for updated pay stubs, updated documentation to give to the underwriter, or sometimes they call them the undertaker, depending on where you are in that spectrum. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And then they schedule your walkthrough to go back and check the items on the home to make sure they've been fixed and corrected. And then you're on the hook for 30 years, and you are now a homeowner, okay? So that's going to be the homeowner, the home buying process in a nutshell. Now let's talk about how to successfully buy a foreclosure, and then we're going to get into some grants and programs, and then, hey, we're going to be out of here today. All right. How to successfully buy a foreclosure. It doesn't start with calling a realtor and asking them to send you apartment buildings. It doesn't start with looking at every foreclosure in the market, it starts with finding resources. How am I going to get the house, and how am I going to fix it up? That's the number one resource. Well, what's the most obvious resource? You have money in 401k, savings, you can borrow from it. What's another way? Financial institutions. Establishing financial institutions with credit unions. Sometimes credit unions will give you good loans. Navy Federal Credit Union, Northwest Credit Union, CQ Credit Union. There are dozens of them out there. Establishing relationships with them and paying them on time, and when you need a home equity line of credit or a personal line of credit, they'll give you money. They'll help you with that. Okay? Now, what I suggest that you do is get pre-approved for your mortgage, and they have something called a 203K loan. Okay? A 203K loan is a rehab loan. Okay? So if you have aspirations to do investing in real estate, you have to survive this process first, because it mirrors this. When you start flipping houses, it mirrors this very product. Here's how it works. You get a loan for $500,000. Okay? That's your total loan. Now you can find a home for $400,000, and they'll give you $100,000 to fix the house up. Now the house is worth $625,000, $635,000. That's a good deal. So they loan you money to buy the property and fix it up, all within that $500,000. Okay, now it could be you buy a house for $300,000 and put $200,000 in it. However you work that strategy, the 203K is your best scenario, because they loan you the money to buy the home and fix the home up. They're gonna you go in with a contractor. The contractor is going to identify the items that you need repaired, or your renovations. If you're going to gut the kitchen and then the bathroom and put a new floor in, they call that a scope of work. So you're going to write out everything that you're going to do in the house. That's the scope of work. And then you're going to supply that to your loan officer. Then the appraiser is going to go out. They're going to take your scope of work, and they're going to do what they call an after repair value assessment. Like, after repairs are done, what would the value be? That's what they do. Okay. And then if the value is going to be past that $500,000, then it's good. If it's not, then you're going to have to cut back some of those repairs, because it doesn't make sense to them to loan you the money, because the goal is to build equity. And if you don't have any equity after you do those repairs, then you may have to take some of the things off of your scope of work. Okay. And that's pretty much how you do that. You get a 203K loan. You find a contractor that you can trust. I have someone. Big shout out to Sonny. I use him all the time. If you need Sonny's number, give me a call. And then you find your property, and you do it in that order. And that's how you successfully buy a foreclosure and renovate it and fix it up. Now, banks are getting a little slick right now, a little hip. They're starting to rehab their own homes, so it's still some opportunity out there. But listen, it doesn't have to be a foreclosure, guys. It can be a home that's been sitting on the market for a while, that's just not renovated, that's not fixed up, doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It'll apply if it's been sitting on the market for 180 days, right? You can give them a call, go in a little low. The after repair value of the house is what you want to look at after I do the kitchen. Now, be careful, because these contractors, they'll charge you $30,000 just for the kitchen. You need someone that's going to be able to go in and tastefully modify your home so that you can get a gain and get out of that property. Or if you have a long-term goal, then you can stay in it 3 to 5 years and you can sell it. All right? So that's how you successfully do that without a lot of issues. Okay? All right, moving right along. Grants and programs, and then we're going to be out of here. So if you guys have any questions, you might want to write them down now. I know on Facebook it's a little bit of a delay. So you might want to give us a call at 855-493-6499 if you're on Facebook. I'm putting it out there now because I know there's a delay, and a lot of times when I conclude, then the Facebook people are calling. And if you're on Zoom, you can type your company's your comments in Zoom, and we can answer those questions. if you need a mortgage application, if you want to apply for a mortgage, you can text me at 443-744-5280 and say, KJ, send me the application. You can do it digitally. We can get you pre-approved today for 100% financing, 101% financing, no money down programs. It really depends on what area you're looking to move to. Okay? So here we go. Number one, you have to partner with a financial institution that offers the programs. A lot of people leave this webinar, call the first loan officer they know, get pre-approved, and then try to find a grant. That's not how you do it. That's the reason why we have Meridian Bank. Why? Because they offer you all of the programs. Now, I have a team of loan officers that I deal with that can help you, so Meridian is one of them. So if you have a scenario that I think warrants another financial institution, then I can send you over to that financial institution once I ask you the questions. Now, here are the key questions that I ask you. I ask you, where are you looking to move to? Are you married or single? Do you have any kids under the age of 18? What is your yearly income and what's your credit score? You answer those 5 questions, I know exactly who to send you to. I've been doing this for 17 years. I know exactly who to send you to, who to partner you with, someone who knows these programs inside and out. I have a relationship with the number one Maryland mortgage producing loan officer in the whole state of Maryland. Yes, your boy, KJ Johnson. Where my books at? I see my books right here. See my books right there? See that? Those are my books. Hey, listen, you got to be a big deal to have books, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, I have books. You got to be a big deal. So you can get my book. You can read my book on buying a home and selling. And, hey, listen, give me a call. Interview me to be your realtor. I won't take it for granted that you're just going to use me because you're my webinar. I don't operate that way. Give me a call. Interview me. Talk to me. 15 minutes later, you're going to be ready to sign a buyer agency agreement or a listing agreement because I've done this for 17 years. I put that experience to work for you. I care about my people. We do a lot together. Pandemic has kind of stopped it a little bit, but we have women empowerment events and men empowerment events and crab feasts and, trips to Miami as a group. We build a bond after your transaction. Not just to get your money and buy. Okay? So we build a lasting relationship with you after your transaction. All right? So we're going to have a lot of fun together. All right. So you have to find a loan officer that offers the programs. All right? Now, here we go. Maryland Mortgage Program. Okay? You have the FHLB program, Chenoa program, CHENOA. I have a loan officer that specializes in that program. I have a loan officer that specializes in all of these programs. So give me a call, 443-744-5280. Let's get you pre-approved right away. First-time home buyer assistance program. Now, the Maryland Mortgage Program is a statewide program. FHLB, statewide. Chenoa is county-specific. I know that they do Anne Arundel County and PG and some parts of Charles. But give me a call. Let me answer you those 5 questions. Once I get the answers, I know where to send you, okay? If you're in Frederick County, you have the Home Buyer Assistance Program. If you're in Harford County, the NPI Workforce Grant Program. Now, the Maryland Mortgage Program is for all counties all across the state of Maryland. These are just other programs that you can use with that, all right? Baltimore City, live near you, work, buying into Baltimore, vacant to values. The Community Development Block Grant Program, Baltimore County, Dundalk Renaissance, Settlement Expenses, DSELP Program, Charles County, SELP Program. Okay, in Columbia, you have the Open Doors Program. All right, Queen Anne's did a moderately priced dwelling program. PG County, you have that Chenoa, you have the College Park Program. There's dozens of other programs in Prince George's County. All right, so those are the programs in a nutshell. But you definitely want to partner with me so that I can help you along with this process, okay? You need someone that knows the programs and know who can facilitate the process. A lot of real estate agents and a lot of loan officers, they want your business, but they don't know this product to the extent they're not fluent in it. They're not proficient in it enough. All right. And our declaration is, if we don't have the answers, I can get you the answers. If I don't know, I know someone. Again, I have a team of loan officers, close to 30 loan officers that I work with that I can forward you to. Now, I don't need that many loan officers, so why do I have them? Because it's all about you, the consumer. Okay, it's about you, the buyer. Some of these loan officers, they do the same programs. So I don't need to necessarily utilize them all at one point or at one time, but there's a vast majority of them that specialize in certain issues that you may need. Like I have loan officers that will pull your credit and not think about helping you with your credit and move on to the next client. Then there's other loan officers who will pull your credit, do a credit analysis, tell you how to build your credit up, and go the extra mile to help you. And those are the ones who are at the top of my list. They will go the extra mile. Like if you don't know where you are, apply for a mortgage. Let's do an analysis. We're doing a credit analysis. Once the credit analysis will tell you as a consumer everything you need to do to get your credit score to a 640, then we can help you facilitate the process of you buying your house. All right? So it's 11:02, and guess what? This seminar is just about over. So I'm ready for questions and comments. If you want to call in, please unmute yourself. KJ Johnson, your trusted real estate professional, selling the state of Maryland. Big shout out to my people in Laurel. Big shout out to my people in Randallstown. That's where my listings are. Beltsville, Upper Marlboro, Bowie. I love Bowie. Gwen Oak people. Any questions at all? Landover. If you're on Zoom, you can unmute yourself. Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, I just have a hi. How are you?
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm Ronika Meyer.
All right. My sister,
Yeah.
my sister name is Ronique. You're a special person.
Oh, okay, so thank you. I just had a question, and I was just chiming in, but does the 203K loan, is that just only for foreclosed homes, or is it for a new home?
A 203K loan could be for any house.
For any home, okay.
Yes, for any house. Like if you buy your regular home and you say, you know what, I want to refinance this house, you can use it for that. Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I am totally new in terms of buying a home, so I'm just going to ask questions,
Sure,
So,
absolutely.
say for instance, if you wanted a home that was like 600,000, I'm just giving you an example.
Sure.
When they say put money down, or I'm just confused about that. Like they'll give you the closing costs. I'm just totally illiterate to all of that.
Okay.
If you could just explain.
Okay, all right. So you have FHA financing. You have conventional financing. You have VA financing, and then there's USDA financing. USDA financing is 100% financing, meaning that of that $600,000, you don't have to put anything down. Okay. If it's a VA, that's 100% financing. Financing is the percentage of the sales price of the house. So on a $600,000 house, let's just say your down payment would be $18,000. Okay, that's going to be, say if it's 3% down. That's going to cover your down payment. But then you have closing costs, which is another 4.75% of that. Okay, so you have down payment and closing costs. Put them together, that's your settlement costs.
Okay. That's those were my questions.
All right, well, thank you so much. Now, how soon are you looking to purchase a home?
I'm looking to purchase, I'm going to say between now and the end of the year.
Awesome. Okay, well, listen, when we hang up, text me. I would love to do a needs analysis of what you need and what you're looking for. Even though it's February, we can do a game plan, and whenever you're ready, we can execute it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Wear your mask. Stay COVID-free in Jesus' name.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to talk to KJ? Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yes. Hey, what's your name?
Mr. Lewis, I know earlier you said
Hold on. Your name is what?
Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Dolores?
Lewis.
Mr. Lewis. Okay, Mr. Lewis, good morning to you. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, now what was your question?
I know earlier you said the average mortgage is $1,500 per month.
No, I didn't say that. I said that was a scenario that I gave.
Scenario. Okay.
Yeah, if you pay
for 30 years. Okay, I got you.
Right. It was a scenario that if you were paying rent for $1,500, after 15 years you would have paid $700,000. So that was just a scenario.
Okay, that was my question.
No problem, Mr. Lewis. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Anybody else want to talk to KJ? Anybody else have any questions?
I do. This is Yvette.
Hey, good morning, Yvette. How you doing today?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm blessed and favored. I don't know about highly favored. I gotta do some praying. I make sure how favored I am, but I know I'm blessed.
We're all highly favored.
All right, I take your word for it.
we're on this side. We're highly favored.
Amen.
I have a couple of questions. I put one question in the chat about the programs that you mentioned.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the credit score still for those at least a 640?
Across the board, there's 640. Sometimes when you get into the Tanoa program, it may be a little less. But for across the board, they're between 620 and 640. Sometimes there are some instances where they can get it in a little less, but I'm going to say 640 for the most part. But we can take an assessment of your situation, the county or the city that you're moving to, and then we can do the research and see what's available. And if there's a lower credit score requirement, then we can let you know what that program is.
Okay. And my second question is about the 203K.
Yes.
The requirements, the credit score requirements for that and the other requirements, is it the same as if you were doing just a traditional
normally
FHA?
Normally with a 203K, it does have a slightly higher credit score requirement. I think it's a 660, 655, 660. Sometimes they'll look at if you are at a 640, if you have reserves or retirement. Like if you have a 640 and they want to make an exception for you, but you have $90,000 in a 401k or retirement, or $250,000 in your retirement account, sometimes they'll use that to show that you have the resources in case you run into a situation, and they'll make an exception, but that's not all the time. So that's on a case-by-case basis. And Mr. Jones with Meridian Bank, or Kelly Williamson over at Meridian Bank, those guys are great. They'll be able to help you out with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, no problem at all. Sophia is on the line. How you doing, Miss Sophia?
Good morning, KJ. I am doing well now that I've listened to your beautiful seminar.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Sophia. I really appreciate that.
Sure. I have a question. I have student loan debt, and I just want to know, how does that compare if I'm trying to do buying a house? Let's say if my student loan is about at least $100,000 in student loan debt.
Well, you know, Miss Sophia, thanks for calling in with that question. There's so many things that they can do to help you with that. There are programs that will actually help you or take into consideration your student loan debt. And that's what set us apart from other people, because once they see that you have these student loans, they just push you by the wayside. But with Mr. Jones will be able to go into more detail with that with you. But there are programs that can help you. They'll make an exception for your student loan debt in some instances. That varies from county to county, though. So depending on where you're moving and what area you're moving to, that scenario can change. But there is a situation where we can help you in that regard.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. How soon are you looking to purchase?
6 months.
This month?
6 months.
6 months. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Shoot me a text so we can do a needs analysis, figure out what your situation is with your student loans, and then whenever you're ready, we'll execute that strategy for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate you. You have a great day. Stay blessed.
You too.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else want to talk to KJ? Anybody else have any questions for me? Anybody else? All righty. Well, listen, I'm just going to just talk a little bit about the market updates. And, I'm pretty much someone will call in. And if not, then we're going to conclude. But like I said before, here's a market update, your 60-second real estate market update. Oh, here we go.
Hello?
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
I just have
sir.
a quick question. About the programs in Maryland.
Hold on one moment.
What was
What's your name?
Andrew Lewis.
Mr. Andrew, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Mr. Johnson.
I appreciate that. Go for it.
I just had a quick question about the program, some of the names of the programs in Maryland that you were stating. You kind of stated them a little fast.
Okay, I apologize about that. What area do you live in?
Bowie, Maryland.
You live in Bowie, so you Prince George's County, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the Maryland Mortgage Program is, you can use that in Bowie, FHLB program, the Chenoa program, and then there's this College Park City University program. Now, sir, there's other programs out there because Bowie has 2 or 3 different zip codes, right? So if you were to look in Bowie, like I encourage you to text me when this is over with so I can get your information and then look into specifically where in Bowie that you may be looking at, and then we can maybe find you some other programs that you may qualify for. Okay, because there's a little bit more in the PG County area that's on this list. This is pretty much everything that Meridian Bank uses in a nutshell. But like I said, I use quite a few different lenders. So you let me know what's good for you. Just shoot me a text and say, listen, this is, I'm looking in Bowie. Shoot me some information or give me a call, and when the seminar conclude, I'll give you a call. I'll get some information for you, and I'll get you some specific answers. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. You have a great day, and thanks for tuning in today. God bless you. Stay safe. Mr. Linwood. Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for tuning in. How may I help you today?
Yeah. Is it a good thing to buy a foreclosure or just a regular house? Does that make sense?
Well, with inventory being the way that it is, what I'm going to say is whatever is available, these tools will help you. If you see a regular house and it's something that you're looking for, then you can buy it. If you see a foreclosure and you can utilize the 2 or 3K loan to fix the house up, then you can utilize that. So I would say look at the market, have your tool belt full, and whatever opportunity comes up, then you have a product to help you. So, anytime you buy a foreclosure, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always pro foreclosure. My first house was a foreclosure. My first house was a wreckable foreclosure. My first house had black and white checkerboard floors, green carpet, green countertops, bugs flying around in it. I thought the carpet was blue. It was so dirty. In the light, I realized that it was green. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I didn't know about 2 or 3K back then. So I had to go in my pocket and fix that stuff up. But, I made $100,000 off that house in 3 years or less. So I'm always an advocate for that, but sometimes people don't have the vision for that or the patience or the resources. So that's why I try to provide that to my audience, because if I would have known about a 2 or 3K loan, that would have saved me some money back then. So so I say equip yourself with the mortgage products that I provided with you today. Hopefully you'll allow us to work with you and be a part of your team. And any scenario that you run into, new construction, foreclosure, existing, we'll have a product, we'll have an answer to get you exactly what you and your family are looking for.
So a foreclosure is basically you buy as is. That's what it
is. Yes, and a lot of times here's the downside to that. And I'm noticing in PG County, a lot of agents are suggesting these sellers to do as is, and they're selling good for the buyer, seller not so good for the buyer. Okay, especially if Now you can do something called as is with inspection. So you can do it as is, do a home inspection. If it's something that's major, you can always back out of it and do something, move on to another opportunity. But I just think, and I try to consult with my clients that an as is property sometimes sends a red flag to a buyer. In some instances, they don't want to partner with you. But a foreclosed home is as is, but the 203K will help you address any issues that come up from the home inspection, and then you can put your cosmetic taste on it. All right?
All right. Okay. Okay. One more question.
Sure.
I was hearing what you were saying. What you were saying about if you pay $2,000 month in rent, you should get a house. Suppose you paying less than that, and you still get a house? Did I say that right?
It's always a good day to fire your landlord, and if you can find a house that's consistent with your paying in rent, then you should purchase. And again, we talked about some of the benefits, but for the sake of argument, let's just go over some of those benefits with you real quick. All right? Why would you want to buy a house if you're renting? It gives you a sense of investment. You're investing in it. You gain equity. Control. It's your house. You can do what you want with it. Fixed cost. Give you that sense of accomplishment. You get tax benefits being a homeowner. And you have stability. You don't have to worry about someone going up on your rent. So any day that you can fire your landlord and take advantage of some of these opportunities that's out there, absolutely. You should do it all day long. If you're paying $900 in rent and you can buy a house, purchase a home. If you can.
Okay, on that down payment, them grants and stuff, how do you know if you're eligible for that?
All right.
How do you know if you're going to get that for help you on down payment? All
right, so at the conclusion of the workshop, if you could text me at 443-744-5280, I'll ask you 5 questions. Based off of those questions, I can direct you to the loan officer that I believe that can help you. Once you meet the credit score criteria, the family criteria, and I know what area you're looking to move to, the rest is easy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay.
Yep. All right. Yeah, exactly. So we can make it happen for you. All right. KJ Johnson, give me a call, text me. We will make this happen for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay COVID free in Jesus' name. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. Anybody else want to talk to KJ? Anybody else have any questions? It's 11/18. That's my mother's birthday. It means I need to call her and take her out.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing? What's your name?
I'm doing pretty good. My name is Shaquila Hayes.
Miss Hayes, you have a spunky voice. You just woke me up. I mean, I thought I was already woke, but I just got energized when I heard your voice.
Hold
on. Well, I'm glad you
Hold just 1 minute.
The coffee I had, but
no problem. How may I help you this morning?
All right. So I want to go back and ask a question when you were speaking of the first home buyers documents to actually have when purchasing your first home. And I got some of them. I have the 3 years tax returns, 3 years bank statements, and I actually didn't hear the rest of what you were saying.
Okay. So the documents that you're going to need is your last 3 years tax returns, your last 3 months bank statements.
Okay.
Your last 2 years W-2s. Your most recent 30 days pay stubs. Verification of court-ordered child support. Documentation if you're divorced or separated. And if you are self-employed, you're going to need a profit and loss statement, an updated profit and loss statement.
Okay, thank you for that. And my last question for you is, do you know of any programs where if you work with the PG County School Board that would apply to those employees?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's some programs out there. Now they change because you have Bowie, you have Suitland. So text me and let's have a conversation about where your school is and where you're going to work, and then we can identify exactly what those programs are and make them available to you. What was your name again?
Shaquila Hayes, and I'm actually on this webinar with Andrew Lewis.
Okay, good. Mr. Lewis. Okay, great.
But we definitely will text you. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. I will not let you down.
All right, I believe in you.
All right, thank you. God bless you. Have a safe day. Stay COVID free in Jesus' name.
You as well.
All right, my name is what? What'd you say? Oh, my number is in the chat. My engineer put the number in the chat. Hey, come on over here and say hi to these people. You on the background talking. They thinking like, who's KJ talking to? This is my guy. He's come on over here. You can't get anybody to see you. All right, so this guy, he's a DJ. He does a whole lot of stuff. He does graphic designs. Tell him a little bit about what you do, and then and so if you guys need his services.
Well, I'm the owner, operator, and producer of Mixstation Radio. If you're looking to do a podcast or just looking to listen to some music on your phone, you can download the Mixstation Radio app. It's everywhere on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Just type in MIXX Station Radio.
All right. I almost forgot. All right, he's a little bashful. But, all right, ladies and gentlemen, any more questions for KJ? I'm here for you. Any more questions? Anybody else? Give me some music, Marcus. So listen. I appreciate the opportunity to work with each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. This new strain of COVID out here is serious, so definitely wear your mask. Stay home if you absolutely have to go out. Just take the necessary precaution, guys, because this devil is still out here and taking people out. So I pray that God bless each and every one of you. I thank you for tuning in. I look forward to working with every last one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives. This is KJ Johnson, your trusted real estate professional, and I'm out.